All right, Solana, buy, short, or HODL. We're going to look at the evidence on all three sides today. So we got a request on this one from one of my longtime patrons. So if you want some requests, get them in on the comments below. Whatever I get the most comments of, I'll do the next video. So looking at the obvious picture, the elephant in the room, up the mountain and down the mountain. So we're at the base of the mountain. So if you had to summarize what you should be doing now, should it be selling after you've weathered this entire storm? Probably not. Should you be shorting? Well, it depends on your mindset, your time frame. But, you know, on the bigger picture, you can see where we are, right? So after having said that, let's zoom in and see where we are on the daily. We're on the daily chart. This is where we're going to start. We'll look at the bigger picture on the weekly in a moment. So looking at this, let's put it on log scale, get a little bit better picture. So to know where you are, you have to look back at where you've been. So we've just done that, right? So now let's look at, we're currently at the 21-day support. That's the yellow line here. You got your medium Bollinger Bands, which is also the 20-day, if you didn't know that. You got your 20-day there, your 21-day right here, EMA, and you actually in the orange here, which is so far hold resistance at 34, the 34 EMA. So a lot of, Bitcoin included in this, a lot of alts will hold one of these three lines, the 50, the 34, the 21. Usually you're going to have some support and resistance even in bull market or bear market right there. So if you don't use these three, I would suggest using these three. Certainly, if you have a gap here between your 2150, a lot of people use the 2150, but sometimes prices will often kind of get stuck between these. So just put on your 34. That will greatly help you. 34 EMA. Remember, exponential moving average. Okay, so for the shorter time frame, we're holding support, kind of going sideways a little bit here. We're kind of at the same price we were back in over a month and a half ago even. So you want to look for the big, clear, concise kind of support zone levels. I would use more zones like this versus harsh lines. Lines can get broken, but zones are kind of the bigger place, the points of interest, I would say. So until Solana can get really back above, the 90 mark here, or maybe the psychological 100 mark for human emotions, that's kind of our breakout zone. If you didn't want to go that high, you got a lot of work to do before that. Well, maybe you need to zoom out to a different lens. So if you're having trouble finding something here, which it looks like, maybe if you had to narrow it down, you want to look at, previous tops here. So that's 59 there on the daily, but, not much action going. So you want a place with a lot of kind of touch points or a lot of interaction before breaking to the upside or downside. So let's zoom out on the weekly and see if we got anything there. Now, if you see this and this happens to you, how do you get it off? I'm glad you asked. It's the log scale. Log scale with the Bollinger Bands on. It's just these Bollinger Bands throwing this off, right? So just click log scale down there and play with that. So now we're back on a linear scale. So it looks a little bit more obtuse, and I agree with you. But if you want your Bollinger Bands on, which I like, usually you're going to want to have it off of log scale on the Bollinger Bands. So just another tidbits of FYI there. Okay, so now the weekly paints a little bit better picture here for us. Now, if you don't see what you're talking about, well, look right here at the EMA 8. The weekly EMA 8 is a key line that you need to be following. So if you don't use that on the weekly, it's very bigly. Okay, so that right there is just shy of $50. Should that matter? Well, 50 is psychological level, right, for humans. It also tends to be a big level for Solana. And you might say, well, I don't see a whole lot of touch points. Well, maybe you're not looking, crank your neck way yonder here, right? So look over here and you can see right at that level, right? You want to be looking for confluence like that, right? So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weekly candles all holding resistance just shy of $50. You got this wick, this long wick recovered right above that level. There's another touch point. There's a weekly. Look at that. After you broke it, you came back and hit it again. Tapped it. Let's zoom in here, right? So often, let's put it back on log since we're zoomed in here. Often when you break support, you'll come back and hit it as resistance. So that held resistance again around $48 to $50. And where's our 8-week moving average, right? So this week, we're right at that same level. Now this is decreasing week over week, so you want to be paying attention. Don't watch prices, watch moving averages. That will greatly help you. And when you short, if you want to short, you short going into resistance. You don't short just anywhere you feel like it, right? And you can use any time frame you want, but a shorting on if say this week Solana goes up to $47, yeah, your money would be a pretty good bet to be shorting that at that level. You short into resistance, you long at support, and then you put stop losses on either side respectively. So that's a quick summary how you long and short. You don't long and short just wherever you feel like it, wherever price level that the good old boys tell you to do it at. Oh, this is a great price here. We haven't seen this price. Throw that shit out the window. You short at resistance, you long at support. There's nothing else you need to be knowing, right? Moving averages can help you do that. That is your resistance. Resistance is either a price point or, let's go back to the daily, right? Remember, resistance is either a moving average and or a previous time that your price touched multiple times. So like Bitcoin, you can go, let's just use this as an example really quick, right? Look at this. This is ideal, right? Amazing level here, right? So if Bitcoin, right, I'd say right in there, if Bitcoin were to go back up to, next week to 28,000, short, there'll be a lot of smart money shorting at this level. And you're like, well, what if we're getting bullish again? Why wouldn't we just blast through it? You don't care, because your risk reward ratio is so great for you to make money here that you're willing to risk, if price goes up 5%, that trade's invalidated and you lost 5%. Who cares? Your reward potential is this holding, which that is the odds. The odds are in your favor of this holding because that's a major resistance point. And guess what? Your reward could be, right? Even if you go back down to where we are now, you're at 26% plus in the positive. Likely if we hit that and come back down, we're coming back down to at least this level. So would you risk 5% to potentially make 25%? The answer should be a blatant, obvious yes. So let's get back to the man of the hour, Solana, if I can find it. And if you point it out to me, there we go. So that's, hopefully that makes it a little bit more obvious. So Solana's more obvious level is really, it's way up here, right? So we got some work to do for Solana to get way back to our level here, but that's a pretty good zone to be fading or shorting. But this is a big, say, so you short here right around that $47, $48 that we talked about on the weekly, and say it goes to 51. Well, then you again, the same thing. You've risked 5 to 8%, so you get stopped out. You lose 8%, right? Then you enter a long. You flip right back around and enter a long, right? Your short got invalidated. Now you're entering a long, and guess where you're going? Very likely you're going up here, because why? There's nothing stopping you, right? Just the same reason that we fell down this so quickly. There's no support levels. Look way left, right? And look way left, right? You catch that? No, I don't know. I crack myself up occasionally, but usually pointless. So look at this zone, right? The top of this zone level also corresponds to this zone level. So if you see that, drag it over there, right? So that is going to be a significant level, but look how much space you have to make here. So you enter a short here, stop loss around 51, 52 level. If that gets invalidated, you lost 8%, flip back long. And this is how smart money does it. I promise you. This is exactly how all the hedge funds do it. At least the successful ones, right? So then you enter along here, and the odds, because that's all you have in crypto, the odds, no guarantees, right? The odds are you're gonna smoke up to here, right? Whatever verb adjective you want to add there. So that's a pretty nice risk reward ratio. Your risk, this should start clicking in the wheelhouse here. So I'm not saying go, dump all your life savings into shorting or longing using this method, but but if you do it 100 times and you start to catch patterns, which you will, start out using $100, right? $100. You use that, and don't care if you win or lose it. You should make it like a learning experience, right? I'm investing this 100 to learn some mistakes by putting my feet in the fire, right? I think that's a term. Holding my feet to the fire. I don't know. So hopefully that makes sense to you, and I'll leave that lesson at that for today for Solana. So if buy short or hodl, well, it depends on your time frame always, but at this juncture, right? Ross Perot, for all the people who the hell's Ross Perot? Who said that? Was that Ross Perot, or was that Bush, the original Bush? Wouldn't be prudent. I'm way over there. Somebody. All right, so back on track. We're looking at I forget what I was even talking about. We hit the juncture. Oh, narrow it down. Buy, short, or hodl. I would say at this point, if you've ridden down, it depends on where you bought, right? But as a general thought, if you bought anywhere in the past year, right, in Solana, you're probably underwater, right? I would say most people bought anything in the past year are probably underwater. But if you've ridden this mountain all the way back down to the base, to the valley, right, where we're at, the rough stuff is behind us, right? So I would say if you had to pick one of the three, it's HODL right now, right? We might trend sideways for another couple months. I would say that's probably the odds on, plus or minus 10-20% here and there across the board. But this is your base building back up again before the next phase, right? Whenever that may come. So I would say HODL is the thought of the day for Solana. Get your picks in for the next video. Quote of the day: the home is the chief school of human virtues. So I resonate well with this. And maybe your friends, when you were little, you had the bad kid in school. Guess where that came from, right? The kids get at home is what they are out in public. So if your kids are nasty outside, it's your fault. With the southern accent. All right, so we're looking at car of the day. One of my favorite Mercedes ever designed, the CLS 63 AMG. This one's on some little bit funky wheels. I like Advance, right? These are the wheels. This is probably their magazine shoot. Forged wheels, nice wheels, but really looking at the car. I just picked this picture because it was nice resolution. All right, there's a side view of it. Pretty sweet car. You can tune these up. Rentec, if anybody's familiar with Rentec or Mercedes, like you can, like super for like $5,000, you can take this, $80,000 car, and it comes with like 550 horsepower for like $5,000. You get like 800 horsepower out of them. So you can supercharge them, you re-chip them, and you can make them super rockets. So yeah, that's that. And I want to add one more thing here. So I think I might try to start adding like a place of the day. So this is in Budapest, Hungary. Maybe a place of the day, travel destinations. Let's all visualize for our next end of bull cycle where we want to go. That's a pretty spectacular picture. So this, I didn't take this, obviously. I actually started following this dude on Twitter, Architecture and Travel. Maybe you should go follow them because they put up, amazing picture quality of places across the world. So maybe I'll just pick one of those every day and do a destination of the day, so to speak. So all right, that's my video on Solana. Hopefully you learned something, even if you don't like Solana. Maybe you're watching this, obviously not this far, but for those of you watching, you should have learned something, Solana or not, right? I don't own any Solana, but that's how you do it across the board. Doesn't relate to necessarily Solana, but that's Budapest, and that's a tree. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Great sunset. Obvious. That's obvious. That's a great sunset. I mean, you're not getting much better sunsets than that, are you? Maybe we'll see one tomorrow. All right, see you on the next video.